Hello. Today I'm discussing Texture Writer or Texture, which is an interaction fiction writer. The collaborators on this project who created it said that they were intrigued by the possibility space between Inform 7 and Twine. And I think for those who are a little nervous about starting with Inform 7, but who feel some of the limitations of Twine, may find this to be a little bit more user-friendly and a great, almost gateway drug to those. It has a few characteristics like a touchscreen drag and drop feature when it comes to creating your own projects. But the finished products can be hosted either here on this website or you have the ability to host them on your own. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you two different stories that are different enough that you can get a feel for some of them. I would highly encourage you to try as many of these as you'd like. So I'm going to go to T-shirt blanket. This is a very simple story and a fast one, and it's a good introduction. So as you can see, there's a play button down at the bottom here. If we click it, nothing happens. And this is that drag and drop feature I was speaking about. You pick up that square and you can see lit up in red the word story. And that means you need to drag and drop it on top. I'll give you a second to read here. Now, when we click look, we find our highlighted words. So I'll drop it. And on this one, let me let you read. You have 4 choices. You can do these in any order that you want. It's not going to make a difference in this particular story. In some stories, it's more of a choose your own adventure as opposed to a strict narrative. And so it may make a difference to you. I've hit the back button and I'm going to scroll down. I want to show you a game called Test. And this is a science fiction game. You can see that here. And it gives you a little bit of a description. So we're going to click it. First thing that you'll notice that's different is that they have an image to start with that's hyperlinked and you need to click. It still has that same drag and drop feature for you to play the story. And there's a few things I want to show you. First of all, you have an analyze button and a continue button. And if you pick up the analyze button, you'll see in 3 places that you have choices of what you're going to analyze. You also have a continue button that works with your next over here. I'll just pick that up for you and show you. And your story continues and you have the ability to analyze each of them before you continue. And that ends up, I'll do this real quick. You can see underneath of it, it adds a paragraph or a line. You have options when it comes to the actual writing on where you want it to come up. Now, I know it's exciting to read it, so I'm going to end this one for you and head back to the main screen because I highly recommend it. It's called Test, and it is great. We're going to go to the My Projects tab, and we are going to create our own story and see the back end of how this works. I have mine already up. So anything you've created is listed here. And I started a class sample, or you could hit the blue, create a new story. So class sample will open up everything that I've done, and I haven't done much. I've written the afternoon was cloudy and overcast, a typical March day. It popped up with the continue box, I believe, but let's add an interaction word. And so I'm going to type March as my active word, and we'll click save. Now, by itself, it doesn't know that this March should go with this. We need to use that drag and drop feature again, which can sometimes be a challenge, to tell it that's what we want. Here we go. And here's where we define our action behaviors to. We can change March to something else when it's clicked. We can change it to the grayest season of the year. We can do whatever we'd like. Now, at the next one, I'm going to click Add Text. And this is where I said you had the choice of where you want to add your descriptive text. after this paragraph is the default, but you could add it at the end of the page, or you could replace the paragraph. It's going to depend on your story if you want to fully change it or if you want to accentuate it. Now I'm going to add a little bit of text because today is not the most beautiful March day ever. And so we're going to say, what are we going to say? We're going to say March in Vermont held two things. Sky filling flurry clouds. And there you go. So this is going to pop up after this paragraph like we saw in the previous story. You can also start a new page with it and set flags, but let's see what we can go. Or you can add some additional behaviors. And here's our default behavior. Let's scroll down and save. And I want to show you how this works before we get too detailed. So March is highlighted, and when you do this here, it will come up. Let's hit preview and see what happens. The afternoon was cloudy and overcast, a typical March day. And again, if we want to bring March up, here's our paragraph beneath it. Let's head back to the right. I want to show you one thing. If you don't like the order of your buttons on the bottom, you scroll over it and it will send it in the other direction. And of course, if you completely change your mind later in the story, you can click to remove it.